Hi, my name's Harry Graney. I'm a 23-year-old personal trainer from Galway, and I compete in jiu-jitsu, MMA, kickboxing and powerlifting as an amputee.
On this episode of All Things Lifted, I'm meeting Harry Graney, a recent amputee and cancer survivor from Galway. Thanks so much for coming down, Harry. I really appreciate it. I just think your story is incredible, and we'll chat about it as we're doing a workout. But you were a recent amputee.
Yeah, 6 months ago I got my amputee.
Okay, and I saw online that was after having cancer 3 times.
Yeah, I've been battling cancer for the past 3 years now.
Okay.
It's been going on for 6 months ago then. That was the only solution it kind of come down to. They tried everything else, so amputation was the way to go, and thankfully now I'm cancer free.
What age were you when you were first diagnosed with cancer?
I was 19 turning 20.
Oh my God, just starting off in life. That must have been a big land.
Yeah, it came out of nowhere. Like, it was never expected. So uncommon as well, like the type of cancer that is. You don't really expect to get something in your arm, like especially in soft tissue cancer. So
was it a tumour?
Yeah.
You started chemotherapy first, is that correct? Or
radiation was first, shrunk by half, killed 95% of it. Surgery, successful, cancer free, and then preventive chemo to try to stop it coming back. I was meant to be all good in the clear, I was meant to be done with it, but then unfortunately did come back that second time, done a surgery that wasn't successful, and then it came back a third time, and that's when the only option then was amputation.
Okay, wow, that's a big life-altering surgery to go through.
Yeah.
It
was something different to get my head around, like, but it was for the best. Like, the arm was so non-functional, like it was completely consumed by the tumor. So I wasn't able to train much. It was affecting my quality of life. Like, it was affecting my work. I was in constant pain. I wasn't able to do powerlifting or kickboxing or anything like that. So once I got amputated, it was almost freeing. Like, although like visually, like now, people see me as an amputee, and that was something I had to get my head around. But as far as like for life quality, it's only improved.
Okay, so you said we're going to start with a bench. So single arm bench. I see the way you set up the bench, you would kind of...
Yeah, I set it kind of to the side. The way you kind of press it, the middle of the bar kind of goes down around like that. So,
am I doing both hands, or am I going to train with one hand?
Give it a go with the left. Sure, we both do left side.
Okay, perfect. And that means we can leave the bench then as it is. You say when?
Yeah, that's all good.
Okay. That's insane. Trying to make you laugh. That is deadly. Okay, I'll give it a go. So when did you start benching then? How soon after surgery?
I'd already practiced loads of one-arm bench press, so I had plenty of practice with it, but I was back in the gym after 9 days.
That's incredible.
So.
Had you a lot of pain post-surgery?
No, it was like less than before. Like, it was such a relief. Like, wake up in the hospital bed after getting my arm amputated, and I was in less pain than it was before the surgery. Like,
oh my God.
Yeah, the tumour, it was excruciating, so it was such a relief to just be done with it. You might have to just grab with your right arm and find it going. You kind of put it like a punch, so your arm kind of goes like out, kind of that way.
Okay, so like that?
Yeah.
On.
You flare your elbow a lot. You kind of bring it around.
You really need your feet planted, don't you?
Yeah.
And your core stability.
Yeah, especially.
3. 4. I'll just do 5, will I?
Yeah.
5. Okay. It's not too bad with the 15 kilo, but I don't know about putting weight on.
Yeah.
What are you going to?
I can do 50 for reps.
So when you were first diagnosed with cancer, like as you said, you were 19, is that right?
Yeah.
Like that initial shock, how did you cope? Was it like determination, okay, I'm going to beat this, or was it?
It took a while. Like, at first, I didn't know what I was in for. Like, I was just given the diagnosis and I wasn't told any treatment plan or anything like that. So I kind of went in very blind for the first 2 months. I didn't know what I had in store for me, and I kind of just hit away, and it was a tough dealing with it. But then once I knew what the plan was, what the course of action was, and that it could be treated, then I just kind of got on with it, tried keeping life as normal as possible. Try not to let it consume me, be defined by it.
When you first obviously beat cancer, that must have been such an elated feeling, and then to get diagnosed a second time with it and have to go through all this again.
Yeah, it was there wasn't a huge celebration when I got told that I was cancer free, because it was like, oh, you're cancer free, now you're going to have to do some chemo. So it was that kind of chemo was very tough. But
I'm here now spotting you if you need me, okay? Insane. Push, push, push. Tank. Drive it out. There you go. Push, push. You've got this. Anima. 45 kilo, that's nuts. No.
Yeah.
I thought you were going for 1 rep. I didn't know you were going to go 5
I always make them look more difficult than what they actually are, to try to keep good control of it.
The chemo, did that take an awful lot out of you?
Yeah, the chemo was really tough. Like the type chemo I was on was very, it was a very strong chemo, doxorubicin and phosphonate, and it was tough. Like it was, very, very quickly once I was on treatment, I started losing my hair, and I was very sick and stuff like that. But kind of just kept training away and kept busy and kept my mind occupied. And the surgery was in Dublin and the chemo was in Galway. So thankfully the chemo was in Galway, because I wouldn't have been able to make that trip up and down. Like it was 21 days off and then 3 days on, admitted to hospital, getting the treatment, that was definitely the toughest part, physically and mentally. Like, 'cause I was in like the hospital ward with like loads of, everyone's kind of far older than me, everyone was in their kind of 70s and 80s, most of them were terminal, like people were very sick in there, and I was like this, I would have been 20 at the time, doing chemo, this 20-year-old, like, big into weightlifting and all this stuff. But then as I was getting treatment, like it was then bald and I looked like a cancer patient, and like 7-person ward all surrounded by this, like there was some dark times, like, people sick and then they get taken away at night, and I asked, oh, what happened to this person, and oh, they passed away last night, across the bed from you, and like, people doing their wills like in the beds beside you and stuff like that. It was very, very tough to kind of just stay strong, being just surrounded by just sickness and death for it was 6 months kind of what I went on for the chemo.
You must have had a really strong family support though, didn't you, to get it?
Yeah, my mother was there every single day. She was first thing in the morning, and she'd be in until close.
That's amazing. Okay, that's way easier.
That's the one, yeah.
I think there was a no rep. There we go.
You can make it nice and easy. Sometimes I let it dip in the way, so you kind of reduce that range of motion. Let the bar kind of dip in there. I've good control over the bar, so I can kind of do that. Like dip it in and get a little hop out of it, and you can do that.
Are you going for a 1 rep at 50?
I'll give 50 a go. Yeah.
You say when?
Yeah.
Okay. Your bar, you got it?
Yeah, all good.
Okay. Drive it up, drive it up, drive it up, drive it up, drive it up. It's just getting caught. That's all. Animal. It just got caught on the... Did the jiu-jitsu start after the amputation, or did you start that beforehand on the MMA?
After.
But kickboxing obviously was your background as well.
I was doing a bit of kickboxing while I was kind of going through treatment and stuff like that, but I was so limited. Like I really shouldn't have been doing kickboxing. Like I had a port to my chest and portacat for my treatment, because chemo, if they put it into the veins of my arms, the veins would collapse. So they put it into the veins of my heart, and like this device would connect to the veins of my heart. I was told, no form of combat, no form of contact sports, that like this is really dangerous. If this gets hit, like it could kill you. And I was rocking up the kickboxing training, and like I had a tumour in the arm, and I'd be going Philly shell trying to protect the portacat and protect the arm, like, and I wasn't able to give it a proper go, and I was like loving it, but it was far too dangerous, so kind of had to put a stop to that for a while. And
then once I got the news of amputation, I was thinking, right, as soon as this is all healed up, I'll be back to it. So it was only 3 months post amputation I was back training kickboxing.
Yeah, and I saw that you bet some guy in your first kickboxing fight, a guy with all 4 limbs, and you went in the ring and hammered him. That's insane.
Yeah. Like that. Spread your base wide.
Okay. He was such a strong core.
Very tough
Nice.
one.
I'll try and get one. Right, so. Let's see. You said broad,
nice
broad base.
Yeah.
No, I won't even get
And
one.
bring your elbow out wide, similar to the bench press.
I can't even get one. No, no strength. That's insane. That is crazy. I can't even. I'll try with the other arm. No. I can't even get up. Most people would be probably just getting back into running or a light form of exercise, and you've gone into extreme combat sports and powerlifting, which is just so taxing on the body. It's incredible. Fair play.
I was loving the powerlifting, but after the kickboxing fight, like it's such adrenaline rush, and like also like just what it signifies as well. Like when I go out and powerlift, like, you know, although I'm strong with the 1 arm bench press, I'll never be able to beat someone with 2 arms, like a fully able-bodied person, and prove it to myself. Okay, I'm no different to anyone else. But in a kickbox fight, I can go out there, like in an MMA fight or jiu-jitsu competition, I can go out there, compete against, you know, able-bodied people, and prove to myself I'm not less than these guys. You know, I can actually beat them. I can hold my own. I can do well, and just proving that to myself.
Because like I saw a clips of your fight, and you're punching with 1 arm, and you're defending with 1 arm, and you were running rings around them. It's nuts. Fair play. Do you want to do a bit of deadlifting?
Yeah.
So you're doing sumo style.
Yeah.
Cool.
And go hook grip as well. You get the better grip strength. Don't be that way.
Cool.
Yeah, that's great.
You happy with that?
Yeah.
So, you know, when you lost the arm, did you mourn the loss of it? Did you have like, you know, where sometimes you read when people lose a limb or a finger or a digit, they kind of mourn it and almost bury it and have a goodbye service type of thing.
Could I keep it? Could I, like, I was going to cremation, having it like a lock chain or something like that to keep it with me at all times, but that was never an option for me.
No.
So I was glad to just get rid of it. Like, I was happy just to get done with it. You know, it was no addition to my life. Like, completely, couldn't bend or straighten. I was completely locked in this position. I couldn't pronate or supinate my wrist. Like, it completely consumed the arm. His arms are stuck like this. I didn't use it for anything anyways. Like, so
the amputation has almost been a positive for you.
Yeah, it was the best thing ever, that I can just get on with my life. What it signified as well, beating cancer for the 3rd time, and just having my life back, that I can, you know, do all these competitions, and I can, there's nothing holding me back now, only myself, only my mindset. So
I won't be able to do a hook grip because I have a thumb injury from years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
Try that again.
Spread your hand as much as you can, like kind of like
keep a little bit of gap.
Is that in the dead center? If you,
I'll try without a sumo deadlift. I'll just try and do conventional. That's a bit easier for me.
Yeah.
Okay. Easier than the bench.
Yeah.
Cool. Right. Do you train solo or do you train with people?
With the weightlifting, I kind of do it on my own, but what the great thing about my gym is, like, it's a really community gym. Like, there's no owners, it's a non-for-profit, like, all the money's reinvested. There's a great community atmosphere in there. No one kind of wears headphones, everyone talks, everyone gets on, so I always have a spot there and people to encourage me and stuff.
Animal. Nice. We live in a world where people complain a lot about insignificant things. Do you find you have a new perspective on life now after going through everything you've gone through?
Absolutely. There's like a great saying, it's like everyone's got 100 problems until you've got a health problem, then you've only got one problem. And that was just it with me. Like, I thought everything was an issue, everything was a big problem, everything would consume me. And then when I was hit with this, you know, a really difficult thing. Like it put everything into perspective. You know, if you have your health, that's your wealth. You know, just you know, if I'm able to train, if I'm able to do the things that I like, I'm able to, you know, work and do all that stuff. There's very little to complain about. Like, we're so fortunate, and how we have it, and we don't realize it until it kind of gets stripped away from us a bit.
Yeah. I hope the world can see you here today, because we complain about stupid little things like your phone breaking, and here's you after going through cancer 3 times and then losing your arm, and you've turned it into such a positive spin, because I know, as you said, your arm wasn't working for you for a finish, but you've just made this so positive when a lot of other people would sit and wallow, and I think it's your mindset.
Although it was so tough what I went through, like, I wouldn't change for the world. Like, I'm so happy I went to that experience and came out the other end. That, because it gave me such a new perspective on life. It, you know, it makes me feel like it pushes me so much more of something to be grateful for now. I'm grateful to even be alive. Like, and like, I would never have done powerlifting competition, the kickboxing competition, any of that stuff. I would have never pushed myself out of my comfort zones and, you know, like, put myself out there, only for all I've been through. And I realized that, like, you know, life's short, just to give everything a go. Don't have any regrets if there's something you want to do. Because I know when I was in hospital bed and I was, you know, I was sick and I was bald and I was like, I wasn't able to do the things I wanted to do. That's when I realized, like, oh, you know, there's so much I wish I had done that I hope I do get the opportunity to do. And now that I do have that opportunity, I want to seize that opportunity.
That's brilliant, and let alone the resilience you have from going through what you went through. I'd say you feel like you could do anything and conquer the world.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, let me try and conquer this. 55 kilo with a belt on. There we go. Nice one. One is plenty for me. Thank you. Do you want to show me the one you were doing? It's more a strongman move, is it?
Yeah.
Dumbbell's probably a bit light, but...
Gonna snatch it up to here.
Yeah.
Rest it up on your shoulder.
Okay.
And then from there, you squat. You kind of jump up with it like that.
Okay.
Bring it back
That's really
down again.
strongman, isn't it? That's so cool. Who are the most important people in your life now?
With family, friends, the people that have been with me throughout the whole journey. Like, especially my mother. Like, she never left my side the whole way through. She never missed a hospital appointment when I was up in Dublin Monday to Friday in St. Luke's in the lodge getting radiation. Like, she stayed there up there, took time out of work, like all my surgeries, she was always, she was in there first thing in the morning the whole way through chemo and stuff like that. In there first thing in the morning, I wouldn't leave until they were closing up at night. Like, so.
She sounds like an amazing woman.
Yeah,
Oh my God,
I wouldn't have been able to get through it without her.
And she was fighting her own battle, seeing her son so sick.
Yeah.
What a strong woman.
Yeah, very, very tough. It's not only is it tough for me, but it's so tough for my loved ones. Like, to see me going through that. Like, because I know probably the hardest part, the most thing that I remember out of the whole journey was when I first got diagnosed. I had to go tell my grandparents. I'd be very close to my grandparents, telling them that, you know, this is what it was. They all knew that I was waiting on the results of this, and they'd all lit candles and they were all saying prayers, and no one really thought that this could be my reality, that it actually could be cancer. They always just put it down to something else. And then when we got the results back at the biopsy, once I gained my own composure, I had to go telling them that was probably the hardest thing I've ever had to do in my life. You
are so tough. I'm sure you were straight away, how am I going to beat this? But having to say it to people you love, where you don't want to hurt them, you know, and I can imagine having to tell them. Yeah, and especially just being told that, you know, this is what it is, and having no, you know, especially for myself, like, you know, it's one thing getting diagnosed with cancer, but if, you know, they lay out all of the treatment plans and what your diagnosis is and stuff like that. But I was just told it's cancer, like, it's, you know, I'm just an orthopedic surgeon. It's not something I qualified in. I can't really give like an educated opinion. It's not my field of study. So he just said, like, just don't check it up. You're not going to find anything good on the internet, and just wait until your consultant up in Dublin gets back to you. And then, of course, first thing that you do is you check it up, and I see it's very aggressive and all this stuff. And, you know, I didn't know anything about staging or anything like that. So, like, I just instantly, as soon as I heard cancer and I wasn't told anything different, I just thought, okay, I'm going to die. I'm going to have a few months left to live if I'm lucky. And
I'll die. And then when I did go up to Dublin and I met my consultant, and he told me the reality of the situation, that, you know, this is treatable and there's lots of options, and you know, they had intended on me beating this, that this is going to be something that it'll be a journey, but I'll be able to overcome it. Then it'll just give me so much more relief. That's when I knew that, like, you know, life goes on, and, you know, it kind of put the fight back into me.
Nice. So we're going to back squat. Cool.
Yeah.
Is this one of the easier ones for you, or how do you find it?
Yeah, it kind of gives me a small bit of back problems. So unless I was beating it, I don't really do it too much. I prefer the machines. Like,
you load one side more than the other.
My placement on the bar will be like, so I'd be kind of, yeah, okay. I'd be like kind of there.
Okay, so you're loading more on this side.
Yeah, okay. There's more bar on the right hand side than on the left. That's kind of how I work it for my competitions and stuff like that. But it's a good one. I've done 140. So,
wow.
Yeah.
That's class. So I'll try this single arm. So you're a little bit more to your offset to the left then for balance. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So like, oh yeah, I see what you mean. I'll probably go over another bit. That feels balanced for me.
It's almost easier with a bit of weight on, because it kind of, it's the bar feels a bit shaky when there's no weight in that.
Yeah. It's not too bad, but I remember this from years ago, as I said, when I had a broken arm. But I was able to still grab with the cast.
And you can't low bar squat, you have to high bar squat.
Yeah. No, I was never a low bar squatter. Were you?
Was, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a massive change for you. Do you want me to spot you?
No, it's all good.
Okay, so you can just fail the bar behind if you need to fail. That's class. You know the way you were saying your consultant, when you saw the oncologist up in Dublin, after seeing the orthopedic surgeon, and you were talking about stages, did he grade it on what stage the tumour?
Yeah, stage 2B.
Stage 2, 2B.
So, yeah, it was the tumour was very big and it was quite aggressive, but it hadn't spread. Stage 1 and 2 hasn't spread, stage 3 is lymph nodes, and stage 4 is metastasized. So I was very fortunate that it hadn't spread.
It's completely eradicated at the moment. Are you in remission?
Cancer-free, I believe, is what they. That's
what they term it as now, is it?
There's nothing going on. There's no scans or anything to show that there's anything going on cancer related with me. So just I get scans every 6 months on my chest and thorax, and they scan my stump. There isn't a huge pile of fear with the stump. They kind of the clear margins. So like it's with the surgeries, it's only like minimum margins of what's healthy cells and what's cancer cells, but with an amputation there's centimeter clearance, so it's very unlikely that will come back to the stump. So it's just constant monitoring of my lungs, and thankfully nothing has ever shown. Okay,
that's great. I'll take any tips off you, Harry. Does that look a little bit off center?
Like, well, everyone's kind of different. You might not find you need to be off center.
There we go. Is that off center? Because that feels right there.
No, you're in the dead middle there. But that's grand if it feels comfortable to you.
Yeah, that feels comfortable.
Yeah.
Well, obviously it's uncomfortable. Cool. Happy days. Nice one. Klaus, well, we move on.
Great stuff.
The bag's never been hit as hard. Yeah. Good. Harry, thanks so much. That workout was incredible. It was a real insight for me, working without the use of my right hand. I know you gave me a little bit of a buy and let me use my dominant arm, but thank you so much for sharing your story and introducing me to what life is like working with out one of my arms.
The beauty of weightlifting and all that stuff, everything can be adapted. Like, you know, I surprised myself when I first got into all this kind of weightlifting with the use of only the one arm, like, you know, what I was capable of doing, like just with the right mentality and just giving it a real go. Like, so thankfully I had that personal training background that I was able to figure out adaptations to all these exercises.
Yeah, it's incredible, and you can really see it. Like there, you were just telling me, even with the bench, just to move your arm over a bit, it's like straight away I wanted to grab the middle, and you were kind of explaining like the correct way to hold the bar, or sorry, to bring the bar down the way, as opposed to grabbing it in the middle when you bring it down, as opposed to, like, I'd be kind of an in-close bencher, you know, and I'd bring it in close and bench. So that whole extending out the elbow, how it worked, it was incredible. And even with the barbell, when we were doing the back squat, how you were saying you offset it a little bit, whereas like, and it depends on what works for who, but it actually works for me being centered on. You know?
You kind of just trial and error. I figured all these things, you know, the unfortunate thing about it is there's a really a guideline, like, you know, you search up videos on how to squat, bench and deadlift the conventional way, but then when you're one arm, like, you kind of have to just figure these things out yourself, and you're never going to know until you give it a go, because unfortunately they're just, you know, there isn't really anything to go off of, even with like all my other training, like jiu-jitsu, kickboxing, MMA and all that stuff. Like the coach is trying to adapt all the exercises, and it's constantly, like, every class. It's very exciting for my coaches as much as it is for me, figuring out ways, okay, like, you know, how can we adapt all of these submissions, these kicks, these punches and all that stuff to suit me.
Yeah, you're leading the way, so you are. Like, is there other jiu-jitsu people out there who are?
There is quite a few. I do believe there does be a para jiu-jitsu competitions.
Oh wow. But you've no interest in that. You want to.
But a lot of them just compete regularly because, like, it isn't a huge disadvantage. I feel like it's more of a disadvantage in kickboxing than it is in jiu-jitsu. Okay. I think jiu-jitsu, you just have to find out your own style and all that stuff. But like there's there isn't a whole pile of people to go off of, and people don't really make too many, and people that do it, they kind of just do it. They don't really talk about how they do it, what sort of changes they make and all that stuff. So it's sometimes it does feel like you're very on your own, but it is very exciting figuring it all out as we're going on.
I think there's a future YouTube channel, you showing the world how you adapt and train, because as you said, there's no manual to how to bench with one arm, and there's no manual as to how to deadlift with one arm. So I think you're class. It's incredible. And even down to, like, showing I couldn't do them, is the push-ups, the single arm push-ups, and the strongman, which I'd call the dumbbell snatch or dumbbell clean and jerk, and just how many workouts you can actually do. And even we managed to avoid doing any cardio, which I was happy with today. But obviously that's the alternative. If you can't do any of this, you can still go out and go for a run or jump on a spin bike or something like that, you know.
Exactly. There's loads of options, you know. There's a way of adapting everything, and there's no excuses for me. Unfortunately, I can't get out of it, you know. Well,
I think you're incredible, because there is plenty of people that would make excuses, and you have such a positive outlook on life. And I have to ask you, so this is all things lifted, so what lifts you every day? How do you get up every day and keep going?
I think just proving it to myself, like, you know, I think back, you know, when I was doing that kickboxing fight, and I was doing the powerlifting competition, and all these things I'm trying to achieve. Like, I'm always thinking back. What motivates me on the day is just thinking about where I've been, where I've been at my lowest, and just proving to that person, you know, me, in the hospital bed, you know, not too long ago, on chemo, bald, getting sick, fingernails falling out, like getting nosebleeds, like passing out, and collapse and stuff like that, and thinking back to that person and thinking now where I am at and how much I can achieve, and just kind of being my own biggest motivator. I think we all should be our own biggest motivator. Yeah. We should all uplift ourselves.
Yeah, I love it. You're incredible. So if you were to meet somebody now who's going through what you're going through and in the early stages, what would you say to them?
I just say, you know, just listen to your own body. Your own body will tell you how you feel. If you're not up to the workout, you'll know it in yourself. Give it a go. Get to the gym. Give it a try. If you don't feel it, you can go home again. But don't listen. You should listen to yourself. Like, don't be encouraged by others. Lots of people told me, you know, when I was talking about getting back driving, that I wouldn't be able to drive a manual. I passed my driving test in a manual. So I straight away got back on the road. You know, lots of people told me that, you know, I won't be able to do these powerlifting competitions. You know, there's no way I could compete against someone in any form of martial arts if they're able-bodied people. And then going out there and not list those people going out there and doing it and proving it, not alone sticking it to them, but to prove it to myself that, you know, most importantly, we need to prove all these things to ourselves. You're
constantly beating the odds, so you are, which I think you're admirable. You're class, you're so determined. That level of grit that you have, you know, and that resilience is just admirable. And I think anyone out there who is going through what you're going through or going through chemotherapy, just to watch this series and watch this episode and just see how you've overcome not once, not twice, but 3 times, and then losing a little limb. And you're one of the most positive guys I've met, and your outlook on life is just so positive, and I think it's admirable, and you're incredible.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. We have a patch here. You can pop it on your backpack if you want, a little All Things Lifted patch. There's 2 of them. And thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
I really appreciate it. Loved having you on.